go for lunch at some point and come back from lunch and then finish off with the remaining qualifying 2 sessions before getting underway with our scheduled races, which are scheduled to begin, and I say provisionally scheduled depending on what happens on track, i.e. red flags and delays and rain, fog even.
Yeah,
so
the fog actually delayed us a little bit this morning. We're running a little bit behind, not by too much, but
we're catching up.
We're catching up. We're doing our best to catch up, and the team here at FAB are doing a fantastic job of making that actually work out.
Yeah, certainly is. And yeah, our scheduled races, our first scheduled race is at 2:40 p.m. this afternoon. And that should take us right up to the end of racing, which may or may not be at roughly about 5:20. Again, very, very sort of penciled in times at the moment, so do not be surprised if those times fluctuate. We will, for the benefit of the people in the paddock, we will try and keep you up to date with the most up-to-date times if we are running behind or late. And certainly that's of more importance this year, since we actually have one of the riders commentating, and I'm sure he will probably blame us, Liam, if he misses one of his races.
Yeah, well, funny enough, we just had him up in the commentary box 10 minutes ago, and he was eating chips and cheese and saw the rest of the riders
Is that the
high-protein
chips and cheese?
It is, yes. The Go Faster chips and cheese, it is. And he literally looked out the window and went, oh me, oh me, oh me, he said, and ran off to his race. So yeah, we'll do his qualifying session. He's out on track at the moment. We've got the Extreme 200s. We're going to give you a quick rundown of how it's looking at the moment. So Charlie Nesbitt is fastest at the moment on a 47.6. He is half a second, yes, a full half a second ahead of second place. That is Richard Holmes Williams. We have Richie Turner in third position, followed by Josh Ingram in fourth. Brandon Perrell follows up in fifth position. Matthew Bolsover in sixth place. Cam Harris in seventh. In eighth we have Harry Claridge. Jamie King is next up in ninth, and Blake Ansell, as we know and we will be hearing from a little bit later on, is running the 120 numbered bike. He's in 10th place. Felix Hearn is in 11th, Taylor Lawrence in 12th, Liam Fairbrother we have in 13th place, Sean Whittaker in 14th, and we have Ian Jackson in 15th position. But Leicester, they've actually got to go some to try and catch that quick kid, Charlie Nesbitt, who we've seen quite a lot over the last few years and racing in the world scene at the moment. Yeah, definitely. And Charlie, now I have to preface anything that we mention or credit laps of Charlie Nesbitt too, because Charlie in the past has been, let's say, notorious in this particular championship for starting at the back of grids and confusing us commentators. And yeah, I think in practice or in a previous session he didn't actually go out with a transponder, or somebody else went out with the transponder or something. I don't know if it, but it might be Charlie Nesbitt on track at the moment. Or certainly the transponder is saying Charlie Nesbitt is currently P1 at the moment in this first qualifying session. So yeah, with Charlie, and checkered flag is out on the first qualifying for the Extreme 200s, and it is Nesbitt who is in the lead by just over half a second, and quite a gap between second and third. It's Richard Holmes Williams in second, half a second behind Charlie Nesbitt, and then it's Richie Turner, a full 2.6 seconds behind Richard Holmes Williams in third place. Josh Ingram over the line in fourth place. Brandon Perrell, the yellow Perrell, in fifth place. Matthew Bolsover just out on finishing his lap, I think. He's currently in sixth place. I think he's maybe heading through the final corner now. This may be him. Sixth place, Matthew Bolsover. Cam Harris in seventh, and Harvey Claridge over the line in eighth place. Blake Ansell in ninth place. Jamie King in 10th. Felix Hearn in 11th. Taylor Lawrence in 12th. Liam Fairbrother 13th. Sean Whittaker in 14th, and Ian Jackson in 15th place in that qualifying session. So it's good to get, I think, just the first round of qualifying, and I think for everybody as well, just to get the first few sessions under our belt and just sort of relax into the season
but not that you can ever relax, because it's always hard-charging, fast-paced, adrenaline-fueled stuff, which is great. But yeah, we want to get all the early nerves out of the way first, and yeah, well, I'm sure we will be guaranteed a brilliant set of races, of which, by the way, if you just joined us for the first time, we have 3 rounds of races, and we will be covering them all live, radio stream on our social media channels. There are quite a lot of places we are streaming, so forgive me if I forget any of them. But we are streaming, as usual, as many people might already know from previous seasons, on the Cool Fab Racing Facebook page, on coolfabracing.com, and on Motorsport Radio, and on motorsport.radio. And don't forget the downloadable podcast on Spotify, Apple, and what's the other one? Google as well.
Yeah, the one that
I did say
forget.
there were a lot, so yeah. So loads of different places to tune in live, and it is radio coverage, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
If I say so myself. So mini F1 sidecars out on track at the moment. You may be able to hear them, and a lot of attention usually paid to the front runner. I'm trying not to jinx it, but it's traditionally been a Mick Williams fest in this category, and we were chatting briefly to one of the sidecar riders last evening, who wasn't even sure that he was going to come out today because he doesn't have a sidecar pass.
Now, I saw him earlier on today, and he started his engine this morning. He started his sidecar this morning, and what actually happened is one of the pistons burst in it. So he brought it into race control today and showed me that there's a massive shear out of one of the sides of the piston. So I think he's definitely called it quits for this weekend, Lester, because he said that he couldn't find a passenger, and there was just things going wrong, and obviously the engine's gone as well today, so we won't be seeing him. But he did say that he might try and come up for the sidecar race a little bit later on today, give us his insights into
that's good.
How it's all going to run, how Mick Williams might perform this weekend.
It's not all about Mick Williams, of course, because Mick Lee could put on a challenge. He hasn't yet in qualifying. He's on his, I think he's on his 2nd lap at the moment, and still early doors in this session, with Mick Williams setting a 56.9 second lap, and Mick Lee a 57.6 second lap. So yeah, now most of the sidecar riders, I think, chose to either not go out in practice yesterday or warm up this morning, so this is the first time that we are hearing of them, and they do sound fantastic on our trackside microphones, Liam.
Yeah, I love this trackside microphones that you've set up, Lester. They sound absolutely fantastic. The sidecars are great. I mean, I've never seen such small sidecars. Now, I've never seen these mini sidecars before. They obviously are very, very small. If you can take a motorbike and make it into a mini moto, but sidecar style, this is exactly what you have out there. They're not the big screamers that we expect to hear from most of the sidecars. A couple of them are, but
if you could describe to anybody who can't actually see what we can see and is tuned in online, if you could describe them, Liam, how would you, as a total newbie to mini F1 sidecars, what would you say they were most like?
They look most like smaller sidecars.
Okay.
I would they also look a bit like good old-fashioned Dodgems, I would say, as well.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah, they look a bit like that. So if you remember the Dodgems from the mid-90s or something like that, when they had the square front in front of it,
I suppose
box shape.
Yeah,
that's what it looks
if
like.
Dodgems went berserk, and yeah, if they were taken over by crazy people, no offence, but yeah, there was that was actually a pretty good analogy, to be honest, as you can hear riders fly over, and it's not uncommon as well for numbers to reduce during sessions, so a few people I think have already popped into the pits. It is still Mick Williams, though, out in front by 7/10 of a second in the first qualifying session here in the mini F1 sidecars category. Make that less than half a second, in fact, because Jack Qualters has just slammed in a 57.4 second lap, which is not bad at all.
Now, I think Jack Qualters is actually using Mick Lee as a bit of a gauge He's chasing Mick Lee around the circuit at the moment. If you can hear a sidecar come past that sounds a bit loud and booming, that'll be the number 44 of Mick Lee. The bike sounds fantastic out there. The thing I have noticed that I quite like is they sort of have go-kart tyres on the side. And I was expecting the big sort of sidecar tyres that you normally get, but just looking a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. But it looks like go-kart tyres, and it looks pretty quick. It looks really quite cool at the same time. We've just got a few people pulling into the pits. We've got Mick Lee coming across the line. We'll see if there's an improvement on his lap time. Unfortunately not. He's a couple of tenths off of what he's done, but we have Jack Walters scraping a couple of hundredths of a second, so he's 0.476 off top spot, which is still Mick Williams in the number 26. Just give you a quick rundown of how it's all looking so far in the Mini F1 sidecar qualifying one session. It's Mick Williams sitting pretty at the top on a 57.3, followed by Jack Walters, who's just nibbling away at Mick Williams' lap time in second. Mick Lee is in third place. Mark Parker on the 2:30 sidecar is in fourth. We have Simon Albertson in fifth, Adrian Ems in sixth, John Hosker in seventh, and in eighth position. Rounding out the qualifiers, we have Paul Junior Qualters. So that's all the sidecar action done at the moment. This quick session we had there, Lester.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, was there something there? Poor Lester's having a bit of a coughing fit at the moment in the commentary box. But yeah, they've got to go some. About that. They've got to go some to try and catch Mick Williams for the rest of the qualifying sessions today. It's looking quite good at the top, but I have heard quite a lot of stories that he is quite good in the Mini F1 Sidecar Championship over the past couple of seasons. They do find it quite difficult to try and catch him, don't they? He is definitely the king, yes, certainly. But I suppose the only way from the top is down, I suppose. So it's anybody's game. They have to step up and try and beat Mick Williams. Next session out on track at the moment, and it is the second qualifying session for Mini GP 70s. And yeah, they're just out on their out lap at the moment. Mini GP 70s, the premier class of Cool Fab Racing, for those who aren't in the know. And many top names often come through this category at Cool Fab Racing to go on directly, or are sometimes already in various BSB categories as well at the same time as racing in Cool Fab. I'm sure we will see plenty of riders who will be looking pretty good and this is literally where they I suppose make their step up, I suppose. Yeah, the biggest and the best riders in this category will be looking to go directly into, maybe over to Spain, as some people regularly do, as some have done this season. We've had the likes of Scott Redding in the past go over to Spain. We've had Danny Kent as well, who's done it. You might notice that some of these riders within the next couple of years will go into the likes of the Motorstar and the BSB paddock, and maybe over to the British Talent Cup, and as you said, maybe over to the CEV Junior World Championship in Spain. So we've just getting the first lap times through at the moment. We've got Johnny Garnes on bike number 57 in first place at the moment, only 1/10 of a second ahead of number 8 Alfie Davidson. Carter Brown is currently in third position, and he's now been bumped down to fourth as we get Owen Meller to third, and Alfie Davidson has just jumped up to second position there. So it's all change at the top of the sessions. We'll just give it a couple of minutes to let that play out at the moment. A lot of people just making their out laps and just coming out of the pits and just yeah, putting in a decent lap. We've got quite a few minutes yet, but for now anyway, we want to introduce the second commentator to make his official commentary debut. Please welcome, and he was just out on track doing his first qualifying session, Blake Ansell. Hello, Blake. Very well. How's things? I have to say, we've got a former bike racer in Liam Hodgins. He kept that quiet from us. And a current bike racer, and I'm the only non-bike racer here, so you guys have got the insight
And I suppose you're like our expert pundit, I suppose, for this year. Yeah, and what is it like? I mean, what bike were you out on? And tell us how it handled in... I think usually like the first and second chicane here at Llandow is usually like the most trickiest, isn't it?
Yeah, we just had someone run off the track at the first chicane there. Looked like he had a bit of a moment on it, picked the bike up, ran across the grass. No problem there whatsoever. Made it back onto track and away it goes again. So it's definitely quite a tricky entrance into the chicane, isn't it, Blake?
Many gears and you're going to run off. It happens. It's happened to everyone once or twice.
So what makes this so tricky, that part of the circuit, especially coming through the left at the chicane? Is it just because you've not been on the left side of the tyre for so long, or is it?
It is pretty fast corner, but obviously you have to go into the corner and brake at the same time if you want to get that good speed. Otherwise, you know, you're going to be sat up and then sat back down, you're going to lose time.
Is it somewhere that you might expect an overtaking manoeuvre, especially on the second part of it? It
is quite a tight corner to overtake, but obviously if someone makes a little mistake, that's going to cost them time, and obviously someone can go up the inside or the outside.
Brilliant, yeah. So we've got some of the lap times coming through at the moment. On bike 114, we have Eddie O'Shea on a 48.0, full second, or nearly a full second, ahead of Owen Mellor in second position. Only a couple of tenths further back of Owen, we have Johnny Garness on bike number 57. Billy Stewart Campbell we have in fourth. Ryan Hitchcock in fifth position there. James Cook in sixth position. We have in seventh Kyle Payne. Finn Smart is followed up. We just had a bit of a change at the top there. Ryan Hitchcock has moved up to fourth place. We have James Rose up to eighth, pushing Finn Smart down a little bit. Harrison Crosby just jumping up to eighth place there. We're getting some fast lap times coming through there. Who are you looking out for, Blake, at the moment?
Yeah, no D. O'Shea. He's almost a whole second ahead of the pack, and obviously he's going to have a good year ahead of him, racing in British Talent Cup. So he's definitely one to look out for.
How do you think he'll do in the British Talent Cup in 2019?
Generally, it's hard to tell, obviously, because there's no testing or anything yet. But there's definitely some good riders in there, so we'll just have to see.
Are you planning on doing the British Talent Cup at any point in the near future?
It would be nice to get in, but obviously it's quite tricky, and you don't know who they want or who they expect to be there. They pick a wide range of racers, you know, different styles, who they're looking for really, and you don't really know who they are looking for.
And it's not necessarily just based on lap times or who's the quickest or who has the most talent at that particular moment when they're assessing it, is it? You have to go through quite a rigorous process, I suppose.
It is quite an intense atmosphere, to be honest, obviously, because you want to get through, but there's not really anything you can do. You just got to try it, and obviously it's not always to do with riders as well. It's like who you are as a person almost.
Yeah, so that's let that be a lesson to anybody potentially looking to make the British Talent Cup a future home of theirs, and make that a paddock. That it's not necessarily all about how fast you can go. It's about being the all-rounded package and having a good attitude, because that is important to be able to get on well with your mechanics, especially as can sometimes be demonstrated at the top levels. If you don't necessarily get on well with people, if you don't
then you just come crashing back down.
In some respects, yes. I'm trying to be very, very polite and definitely not name any names.
You're representing them as well,
yeah,
as a group. So obviously you want to be respectful towards them. You can be an amazing racer, but you obviously don't want to be causing problems in a paddock. Otherwise, that's what's going to get you out of there, basically.
Yeah, and that does happen from time to time, and yeah, it's the best proving ground, I believe, for cool FAB racers and young riders who want to make that step up. It is literally the best place, probably in the world, to develop that early professionalism, get some media training in when there's not the pressure of having, say, Eurosport cameras in your face, for example. So and also brings me on to my next point as well. Anybody in the paddock today who wants to come up and have an interview, you're more than welcome. All you can do is, well, just pop up to race control, go upstairs, and there we are. Literally open to absolutely anybody at all. So if you're feeling a little bit shy, then there's no need to be, because it's only us. Then you're more than welcome to come up for an interview and tell us how your racing went as well. So if you maybe fancy picking up a hat trick of wins this weekend, I'm not looking at you, Blake, just say, and you want to come and tell us all about it, maybe even how you're going to beat Blake on track, then you can let us know and come up to the commentary box. So that would be good. Live radio coverage of round 1 here at Llandow in South Wales. And we are live on CoolFabRacing.com, live on the Cool Fab Racing Facebook page. Hello and welcome. Live on Motorsport Radio as well. And the checkered flag is out for the Mini GP70's second qualifying session. Eddie O'Shea, fastest time at the moment with a 49.069 seconds, which is almost, Blake, a second quicker than Bailey Stewart Campbell. That's not bad.
No, it's not. Again, everyone today is running with really close times, but obviously it's just down to the race. It's quite intense atmosphere when you're on the track. You know, you've got people in front of you and behind, and obviously you don't want to be losing those places, but you need to be, you know, thoughtful of not crashing, because if you crash, that could put you out. So normally the best way is to just try and stay on the bike.
Yeah, just looking at the times, for a second to 16th is covered by 1.5 seconds, which is really close. And it would be a lot closer if it wasn't for Eddie O'Shea, who was sitting pretty at the top, 9/10 in front of everyone else. So it looks like we could have some great race in our hands, but we just might have Eddie O'Shea bursting off and running away from the rest of the pack.
What's it like, Blake, to have a full pack of people, and you're at the front, chasing you and I don't know, wanting you to not be there?
Well, when you have obviously someone behind you,
how much extra pressure is that?
It is quite a lot of pressure, because obviously you want to win. That's why you race. You know, you want to be successful. But knowing you have people behind you, it does add a little bit of pressure.
Do you feel like you perform better under that pressure, or do you prefer to chase someone down?
I'd prefer to chase someone down, but obviously if you're getting pushed, then you're going to go quicker, but obviously you're more likely to make a mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you say like, so you like putting people under pressure, but do you feel like you're comfortable at the front putting in those lap times with a group behind you chasing you down?
Yeah, it is. Obviously it pushes you, so you're going to go your quickest.
So you think you might be able to hunt down your mate Charlie Nesbitt this weekend?
I'm not too sure about that yet, but I don't know.
You never know, he may be the one trying to chase you down. Never know, that may be the case this weekend. So yeah, we just had the qualifying 2 for the Mini GP70 there. Just give you a quick rundown how it looked. So in first place, as we've already covered, Eddie O'Shea, followed by we'll run down that a little bit later on as we get to the AC40 Pros out on circuit at the moment. Very fast little mini motos out there. It's going to be a good class this year. It's looking incredible.
Yeah, tell us a bit more about these particular bikes in this class, Blake.
Well, I'd say the lap times are pretty quick, considering, you know, there's no gears. See, they're little bikes, so they're quite easy to get around the corner. But
when you say little bikes, they are the smallest, littlest bikes.
To be honest, considering they're small, they are very, very quick bikes.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we can hear on trackside that I mean, certainly when you've got a full grid of them, they sound
very loud.
Yeah, they're right up there. And for those who cannot see necessarily what we can see, because they're tuned in live on Facebook, hello and welcome. But yeah, these are the proper mini bikes, aren't they? And I mean, have you raced in this particular class or?
Yeah, a few years back. Obviously, these are normally the starting bikes, and then you go on to the metro kits, and then you go on from there, really.
And did you do well? How was your performance back then?
Well, obviously, you normally have the first year just at the back, and then you slowly progress to the front, as a lot of riders have.
So what's the difference between the AC40 Pro class and the AC Rookies class?
I generally think it's just riders' performance.
So there's obviously the rookies will have the novices in there, and obviously the more you do, the jump up the class a little bit.
Just having a quick look at one of the riders pulling off just at the final corner. Now the numbers on these bikes are incredibly small. Literally very, 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 very small. Too small to be able to see from across a racetrack.
I think I saw a 5 and a 3, so it could be Coperi, but they've got the bike started again. They come back onto track, so we'll find out in a second.
Do you know
that
is Blake? I can't.
No, I'm not too sure.
Oh, it's 137. So bike 137 is Aston Dean. So they had a little bit of big trouble coming out of the final corner, but
he's back underway again.
Yeah, going to be setting some fast lap times the next couple of laps. So it's good that they're back underway. Is there an issue that you might sometimes get coming into the final chicane that could possibly stop the bike? Maybe a chain coming off or something?
Well, obviously it is quite a long straight, so you know you've got to get the gearing right on the bike so it's not revving over too much. But obviously you need that acceleration out of the corner, so you kind of got to balance it out.
How difficult is it to get that right balance, especially on one of these mini bikes? Because obviously you do have the big long straight coming out of the penultimate corner into Raymond's at the end of the lap.
Obviously it's down to the way the rider rides the bike, and it can do to like weight and stuff as well.
So the heavier you are in this class, it's going to be a bit more difficult for you, isn't it? So the smaller you are, it's going to be a little bit easier. You can get tucked in a little bit more. There's less of you on the bike, so to speak. Did you ever have a height problem when you were in this class back in the day?
Not necessarily. Obviously, took me a while to get the confidence on the bike, but when I did, I was just on it basically.
Pretty soon you're up to the pro class from the rookies. Just looking at the lap times, there's quite a lot coming in. It's quite tight at the top. We have Clayton Edmonds in first position at the moment. He's just been taken over at the top by Mason Foster, who is 0.02 of a second in front of Clayton Edmonds. As I say that, Samuel Munson has now just taken the top spot with a 53.736 lap time. That is 600ths ahead of Mason Foster. Clayton Edmonds is further 200 back in third. Ethan Sparks in fourth position. Finnan Weatherty in fifth place there. Henry Cartney is in sixth. Cameron Sewell ends in seventh. Ruben Bray next up in 8th position, performing very well there. Charlie Huntingford in 9th. Holly Harris is in 10th position. Keaton Payne we have in 11th. Cole Perry in 12th. Greg Marshall in 13th. And the person that had a little bit of trouble a couple of minutes ago coming out of the final corner, Ashton Dean in 14th position on the lime green 137 bike. So there's definitely some quick lap times coming in here. We just had Mason Foster extend his lead by 0.6 of a second. He's now on a 53.091. Is that a quick lap time right here, Blake?
Yeah, well, it's quite a big jump to be honest, which is good obviously because you know you want to get as much time as you can in front of you. Obviously that will give you the best place in the grid.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you think you're expecting big lap times, big differences in lap times in this class, or are you expecting it to close up a little bit more as the riders get a little bit more practice in, the rubbers down a little bit?
Obviously it's just about consistency. You can keep their lap times, the most consistent throughout the race is going to be the one to pull through.
So through the lap in the mini bikes, obviously momentum is key here. How difficult is it? How much momentum do you lose if you get bogged down a little bit, if you're in a scrap? Is it quite a lot, or is it quite easy to get?
Well, you want to concentrate a lot, and obviously that is very tiring at the end of the day. Like when your adrenaline's going as well, it's just sometimes it can get the best of you, but you just gotta keep your head in the game and you'll be fine.
Now the good thing is so far, I don't want to jinx anything, but so far we've had a session that's been incident free.
Jinx.
Yes, I know it's the worst thing to actually say. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it does stay like that for the rest of the day.
Well, yeah, hopefully now. I mean, last season, and I don't want to bring up the ghost of Mr. Jinxmas, but Kiko Giles.
I knew it'd be Kiko Giles.
Literally, he made his very first commentary debut, and he was full of confidence and enthusiasm, and commentating on one particular rider. I won't name him and continue to shame him. But yeah, Kiko was commentating, and he was leading he was coming down to the last lap, And he basically, declared him the winner, and then boom, he went down straight away. He was okay, but he was just... so that's just a reason to not get too overexcited. Don't have the commentator's curse, because it will get played back forevermore and turn into memes for you, Blake and Liam.
I mean,
just a warning.
It's something I've never looked forward to having, because obviously they would never like you after that, which is quite good. But touch wood, I won't curse anyone. At the top of the timesheets, we still have Mason Foster. Clayton Edmonds is, I think, trailing Mason Foster out there on the circuit and in times, 5/10 further back, so there has been a bit of an improvement. He's now gone to a 53.6, so it's good. The specs are looking quick out there, Blake, aren't they?
Yeah, all of them, the first, obviously the people in pole are getting really, really close to a 52, so I wouldn't be surprised if in the race one of them managed to.
Yeah, because we have the race coming up a little bit later on. If you don't know already, the racing will be kicking off, if we're sticking to schedule, at 2:40 p.m. It's going to be starting off with the Mini GP70 Race 1, followed by this class here, which is going to be the AC40 Pro Race 1, coming up at 3 o'clock. At 3:15 we have the PB140 and Motor Team Race 1, which our very own Blake Ansell will be preparing for.
Yeah, he's just heading off back down to the assembly area for his second qualifying session.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's fairly confident. He's been looking good all weekend, and there's definitely something to look forward to for Blake Ansell out there. Just coming back to the racing for the rest of the weekend, at 3:45 we have the Junior LC Elite Race 1. At 4:05 we have the Senior Mini Motos Race, which is definitely something worth keeping an eye on. It's always great racing out there. The AC40 Rookies Race 1 at 4:25, followed by the Mini GP50 at 4:40, the Extreme 200 at 5 o'clock, and the sidecars coming up at 5:15. We've got the AC40 Pro qualifying just completed there, and Mason Foster takes pole position, setting a 1:52.981. Clayton Edmonds in second position, 6/10 further back. Ethan Sparks has just moved up to second place, only a 10th off of Mason Foster. Clayton Edmonds has now been pushed back to third. Samuel Munson in fourth. Finnan Wirity in fifth. Henry McCartney in sixth place. We have Cameron Sewell in seventh. We're just waiting for a couple more riders to cross the line. Ruben Bray in eighth, Charlie Huntingford ninth, and Warwick Brady in 10th position. Just remember, you're listening to a radio stream of Cool Fab Racing here at Llandow in South Wales. Stick around, we will be back right after the break.
There's loads of ways to follow the racing this season. Tune in live on the Cool Fab Racing Facebook page, on Twitter and on YouTube. Listen on motorsport.radio and on coolfabracing.com.
And a big hello to everybody who's already been in touch on our live Facebook stream. On Facebook, it's at Cool Fab Racing. Hello to Wendy Ann King, who is not here today. She says she so wishes she was there. Single tear emoji. But she says, good luck, Jamie King, hashtag 76, or number 76. So, yeah, and hello to Blake Ansell from Laura Ansell. She says, hi, Blakey. Hi, Blakey. Yeah, and Christopher Law's been in touch and says hello to, well, he just says Ryan Hitchcock doing very nicely. And he is in Sydney, Australia. He says, we had a mini-moto race meeting today over here. Obviously not the scale of you guys, but we had 8 starters today and we're pretty happy for the track time. So, yeah, literally people listening all over the world. So hello, Christopher Law, tuning in live, and you can get in touch with us right here, directly in the commentary box, all weekend, all season, really. It's at Cool Fab Racing on Twitter, Cool Fab Racing on Facebook, and we will read out the very best, most supportive comments for our live radio stream, which is going to be, once again, covering every single race live online, like we have done since the start of 2016, as we can hear the next session head out on track, which is, Liam, the second qualifying session for the Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team categories. In these already, well, actually someone's ground to a halt as he's just left the pits.
Yeah, it looks like he's having trouble getting the bike into gear.
You might be able to.
You can hear it running a little bit.
That doesn't sound too...
no. It's nearly getting there, but we'll give you a quick update on it. He's definitely looking down at the bike. It's definitely not trying. It's not going anywhere.
If we were putting words into his mouth, I think we wouldn't be able to say them. I think. And,
he's about to get going. Oh, he's dumped it on the ground.
He's stopped to assess the situation of the bike. Let's say. Would be the diplomatic way of saying it.
It was a bit of a shame because as the bike got running, I think the grass is a little bit slippy. So
that must be it.
Yeah, the grass is a little bit slippy, and down he went. So he's definitely assessing the bike. There's definitely something fundamentally wrong with it.
I think we can hear the swears from it, not quite, but it does seem like one of those frustrating sort of incidents where he'd. But anyway, let's not dwell on his misfortune, as he is probably standing right in front of the speakers. So yeah, Liam, just out on track at the moment, and who's looking good in this session right now?
Well, we have Harvey Claridge setting the early pace with a 53.8. He's looking quite good. Jamie King in second position on a 55.4. Sean Whittaker in third place. Ian Jackson following it up in fourth. John Pettit in fifth place. That's been overtaken with Matthew Bolsover moving up to third, so pushing Sean Whittaker, Ian Jackson and John Pettit further down. Jamie King's just jumped up to first on a 53.5. I think we should probably let the time settle because
they're still putting in their early laps.
Yeah, the early laps are coming in, so we'll need to give it a few minutes to actually settle itself out.
Exactly, and as we mentioned a short while ago, if anybody does want to come up to the commentary box for an interview or have their say, let's say, and get things off their chest, or maybe it's good for a bit of extra media experience as well. We have one such rider who's no stranger to the Cool Fab commentary box, and also a Motorsport Award nominee as well. It's the Yellow Peril, Brandon Peril. Hello.
We're just having
That's a good start. I forgot to turn your microphone off. So, sorry.
Right.
Hello, Brandon. Hello.
How are you? You alright?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. It's good to see you. And you've just been. Have you just been out in the last session?
I just went out in the Extreme 200s. Done quite well actually. Yeah, I think I'm provisional 5th place at the moment. So yeah, not too bad.
That's pretty good. And who else is in the class who you're potentially looking forward to racing against?
Well, we've got a team at the moment called Team Gloucester Bike Specialist. It's me, Josh Ingram in the class at the moment, and Gareth Roberts. So I'm looking forward to having a nice close battle with Josh this weekend. Because
who's the quickest in the team? You're going to say you, aren't you?
Nah, I'm going to have to say Gareth.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely Gareth. He's just got that edge at the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
I was actually
a warning sign for Gareth there.
I was hoping you were going to say that it was you, because that means the rest of them would come upstairs and then try and argue their case that they were the fastest.
Exactly.
Well, I can't say I'm the fastest because of lap time as well. At the moment, it's me and Josh are very similar at the moment, but we've both got our own little quirks. So yeah, not too bad.
So how's the bike feeling out there? How is the track now? It's sort of warmed up. Is that having an effect on? Because I think the first warm-up session this morning, it was still quite foggy, wasn't it? And still maybe a little bit slippery.
Yeah, this morning it was quite foggy, so I had to go out with a clear visor because I saw some of the guys going out with tinted, and I didn't want to risk it. And sure enough, I went out. I saw a few bit of like green areas, so I was like, don't want to risk it. So yeah.
Just going to give you a little bit of an update on the rider that couldn't get the bike restarted. It's Keith Bolton, part of the Moto team class. He's pushing the bike back to the pits at the moment, so that's a shame for Keith at the moment, but fingers crossed he can get the bike sorted for the first race, which will be out later on today.
Yeah, certainly. And so Brandon, how many categories are you racing in this year, and what are you doing overall? Are you doing a bit of everything, or?
Well, I think we're going to complete the season here at FAB, but we're also going to do a few BMB rounds, see what we can compete in, to be honest. It's all about track time at the moment.
That's right, yeah. It's a lot of people do tend to enjoy more racing, because we have 8 rounds at the FAB-Racing British Mini Bikes Championship, and a lot of people use some of the other championships to do some practice, I suppose, and just have a bit of fun.
Yeah, I went to Clay Pigeon B&B the other weekend, and I just saw it as, we can prep for Cool Fab and see what we can achieve here this weekend. So yeah, it was very productive. I recommend it.
Yeah, and for those who are thinking about, who might be, like you say, potentially listening, we've got people listening in Australia. Hello, Chris, again. But yeah, people who are maybe considering, they have a bike and they've been thinking about, racing something, or maybe getting a pit bike or something. Just tell us, I mean, we've heard from Blake earlier, but how enjoyable are these things?
Oh, it's just so much fun. It's you can't take them too serious, because they are literally just, if you want to go out and have a bit of fun, these are literally the perfect bikes. If you want to go out and compete, I definitely recommend a Metra kit, but if you want to come out here and have a bit of fun, have a bit of a good battle, I definitely recommend a CRF.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what sort of cost difference is there? I mean, I literally no idea.
Well, it all depends on the year. Like suppliers like Gloucester Bike Specialist, they'll sort you a CRF about $2,000, and then they'll do a conversion kit for you. So all in all, for I'd say a 2012 CRF with conversion kit, I reckon it'll be about £3,000 all in.
That's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely much more expensive options if you want to go racing, especially, and not only on bikes as well. But yeah, so it still remains probably the most affordable way to get involved, and yeah, considering as well that this championship is on the road to MotoGP, and the official partner series to BSB as well. So. There is no other racing series.
There's nothing better, really. If you want to be in BSB and MotoGP, you've definitely got to start here, because like, as you've seen, you've had the likes of Brad Ray and Carl Reiter, and like they used to race here, and it's quite inspiring seeing them in like BSB now, seeing how good Brad Ray's performing.
It must be weird as well. Like last year, especially, I think Brad turned up to a couple of rounds, and more so in 2017, to know. I was racing in this guy, and he's I can beat him, therefore I could be BSB champion.
Yeah.
Do you think like that sometimes? I mean, I would.
The thing is, though, you can't say that you've gone out. If you was to jump on one of these, on with Brad Ray, Brad's going to beat you here. But if you was to jump on a superbike, he'd lap you within 2 laps.
Yeah, but let's not get bogged down in the details. It's all about what happens on the day.
Rights,
yeah, exactly. So,
do you get a little bit more competitive when you're racing against someone like Brad Ray?
100%. Like in qualifying, I had Charlie Nesbitt come up the inside, and I was like, I got to have him back now. I've got to do it.
Where did he get you into the track?
Yeah, he got me in the drag into the braking zone onto the last corner.
Did you maybe just sort of stick your leg out a little bit so that it might get a little bit, like, you might think twice about it and back off?
The thing is, though, it's such good fun, but we're also so competitive, so you don't want to be sticking your leg out and doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so that's the qualifying session for the PB 140 and Moto Team session over. So it's Ben Bailey topping the times at the moment with a 50.736 ahead of Charlie Nesbitt. I don't think Charlie Nesbitt will be too happy about that, on a 50.9. So that could be new out there.
It used to be. I don't think I'll be on them lap times.
Well, you may be, but go out there just compete against Charlie Nesbitt. Matthew Bolsover in third position there. Harvey Claridge in fourth. Blake Ansell, our very own Blake, in fifth. Jamie King in sixth place. He's had a very good session. In eighth position, seventh for the PB 140 class, is Ian Jackson. John Smith is in ninth. But Hudson Kenna, you might remember him from the BSB paddock in the yesteryear, is in seventh position overall, but in the Moto Team, he's in first. So it's a great rundown of the times so far. Simon Clowes is in 10th. We have Scott Dootson in 11th. Mark Pollitt in 12th position, ahead of John Pettit in 13th. Bernie Hook in 14th. Sean Whittaker in 15th. And Mike Carr rounding at the top 16 for the PBM and Moto Team session qualifying 2. So they will be back out a little bit later on for their first race.
Exactly. So we're actually going to take a lunch break here at the track. We started a little bit late, and for those who are up to date on their schedules, well, we've already changed the schedule. Well, not us, but the schedule has been changed. see Roger about that. But yeah, we are going for the lunch break, so we will get back underway with the next scheduled qualifying session after Pit Bike 140 Moto Team, which is the Junior LC40 Elites second qualifying, and Senior Mini Motos as well. So that's what we will come back with. And yeah, so it's been good. It's good to see you again, Brandon. Back in the commentary box. And yeah, sorry about the not winning the Motorsport Award. It wasn't my decision.
That's all right.
So a lot of people have been blaming you for a lot of awards, Lester, haven't they?
I know. We just for those who don't know, which is everybody, we at Motorsport Media, we have a couple of connected brands, Motorsport Radio. And we also organised the Motorsport Awards at the end of the season. It was a brand new thing for last year, literally came out of the blue for most people, and everybody took it, strangely, very, very seriously, to the point where if they weren't nominated, I'd receive comments, emails.
I mean, it took Brandon a while to come back up to the commentary box to speak to you because he was feeling a little bit off.
He almost threw his chips at me when I walked past him yesterday. So
they weren't mine. I don't eat unhealthy foods.
No, yeah, of course.
Too healthy.
Yeah, no, it's weird to. Yeah, I know there's a few marshals as well who had their sights set on winning certain awards, and in the media as well. There was lots of other journalists and photographers. So yeah, the Motorsport Awards is, I think, for 2019 going to be bigger and better than ever before, albeit it's only its second year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll say good luck anyway, but it really is not my decision. It is a public vote, and I think we'll probably keep that as well for this year, just so that people don't blame me for, because they take it so personally.
Yeah, it was. I saw it like posted quite a lot on social media. I was like, oh, I should have really gotten this a lot sooner. Like, I saw my name nominated like 2 weeks after like all the nominations had come out. So I was like, oh.
At least that's better than 2 weeks after the whole thing was done.
The actual awards.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, this we will go offline for our lunch, and I think you've earned it for your first morning session of commentary. He's making his commentary debut.
I think it's done.
Brandon's done more commentary than Liam.
I know. He's more professional than I am. So
for those who don't know, Liam is specifically coming down from Glasgow every single round in Cool Fab in 2019. So you have to sort of give him some sort of applause or
get used to
Rara.
Oh, I've heard about Rara. So yeah, you'll have to probably get used to the accent, which is a little bit different.
Well, if we got used to Kiko Giles last year, then we'll definitely make an effort with you. So anyway, thank you very much, Brandon, for coming on the stream, and to Blake Ansell as well. And we will be back after our first lunch break of 2019. This is live Cool Fab Racing. 1:30 at the restart, I'm told by Race Control in my ear. So yeah, we'll be back 1:30 live online and on the PA.
Live from Llandow, this is the 2019 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championship.